You know, we spend so much of our time and energy looking up at the stars, searching for alien life. But what if one of the most profoundly alien intelligences we could ever hope to find has been here all along, hiding in our own oceans? Today, we're going to unravel the incredible enigma that is the octopus.
And that's really the big question we're tackling here. Because when you really truly look at the biology, the mind, and the just plain bizarre behavior of the octopus, you realize you're staring at a creature that seems to break every single rule of life as we know it.
So, where do we even begin with this thing? Well, let's start with its most famous and frankly most magical trick, its power to literally vanish into thin air. And look, this isn't just good camouflage. It is a biological masterpiece of illusion.
So how in the world does it do it? It all comes down to three separate specialized layers of cells in its skin. Right at the top, you've got chromatophores. These are like tiny balloons filled with pigment that it can inflate or shrink in an instant. Underneath that, you have iridophores, which create those shimmering metallic blues and greens. And at the very bottom, leucophores act like a white base coat, scattering light to give it the perfect canvas to work with.
And this right here shows you the mind-blown difference. A chameleon, which we think of as the king of camouflage, changes color using hormones. It's a slow process, taking maybe 20 seconds. The octopus? Oh no. It's wired directly into its nervous system. It thinks it, and the change happens. We're talking less than a second, literally faster than you can blink.
But it gets even crazier than that. It's not just about the color. It has these tiny little muscular bumps all over its skin called papillae. And with them, it can go from perfectly smooth to jagged and spiky, perfectly mimicking the texture of a rock or a piece of coral. It's a total physical and visual transformation.
Okay, and here it is. The biggest, most baffling paradox of all. Octopuses are completely colorblind. So how? How is that even possible? Well, the leading theory is that their skin itself can see. It's thought to contain the same light-sensitive proteins that are in our eyes. Just let that sink in. They might be matching their surroundings perfectly because their entire body can sense the color, without their brain ever actually seeing it.
This insane level of physical control is just the tip of the iceberg. When we get to the octopus's nervous system, that's where things go from being a biological wonder to something that feels truly, deeply alien. We're talking about a mind that isn't locked away in a skull.
Just look at this distribution. For you and me, pretty much all our neurons are in our brain. Simple. Before an octopus, a staggering 2/3 of its neurons are in its arms. That's right. Each arm, in a very real sense, has a mind of its own. And to put that into perspective, they have around 500 million neurons in total. You know what other animal has about that many? A dog. A complex, smart mammal. But the way it's organized is just from another world, a completely distributed intelligence network. And this, well, this is the unnerving result. If an octopus arm is severed, it doesn't just flop around and die. For up to an hour, it keeps on going. It explores, it reacts to what it touches, it will even recoil from something painful, all without a single signal from the main brain. It's a bizarre, almost horrifying example of true autonomy.
Okay, so quick recap. We have a creature that can vanish in a blink and literally thinks with its arms. But its alien nature goes even deeper than that. Let's look at the very blueprint of its body and how it seems to cheat the fundamental rules of survival.
Just look at this breakdown. It's like a spec sheet for something not from this planet. They have 3 hearts pumping copper-based blue blood, which is just perfect for the cold, oxygen-poor deep sea. Their brain is shaped like a donut and wraps around their throat. And maybe the most shocking thing of all, they can edit their own RNA. That means instead of waiting generations for slow evolution, they can literally rewrite their own biological instructions on the fly to adapt to their environment. It's an actual superpower.
And it uses this incredible toolkit with frightening intelligence. They'll impersonate venomous sea snakes to scare off predators. They'll carry around coconut shells to use as mobile armor. They build little fortresses out of rocks to ambush their prey. And then you have something like the blue-ringed octopus, which uses its bright colors not to hide, but to shout to the world, "I am incredibly deadly, don't mess with me."
All of this brings us to the final and maybe the most profound mystery of all, the octopus's inner life. Because for a creature this intelligent, its existence is tragically short, and it's bookended by what looks like consciousness and a pre-programmed, unavoidable death.
Scientists have actually watched octopuses in a state called active sleep, and it looks eerily similar to our own REM sleep. While they're in this state, their skin just flashes and pulses through all these different colors and patterns. It's almost as if they're dreaming, reliving a hunt, or re-experiencing a narrow escape. It's like watching their brain download and process the day's memories right on their skin.
And then comes the end. After a female octopus lays her eggs, a switch flips in her optic gland, and it triggers a biological self-destruct sequence. She completely stops eating. She'll spend her final months just wasting away, but fiercely guarding her eggs until her very last breath. She is literally programmed to die at the exact moment her life's work, the next generation, is ready to hatch into the world.
So after all that, what does it mean? What can this creature, which feels so alien but is so fundamentally part of our world, teach us about intelligence itself? Well, I think the octopus is proof. It's proof that our way, the vertebrate way with a big, centralized brain and a skull, is not the only way to get to intelligence. It's a completely separate, totally successful experiment in how to build a complex mind. It is, quite simply, an alternate blueprint for consciousness.
And that, of course, leaves us with one final, pretty haunting question. If a mind this bizarre, this fundamentally different from anything we know, could evolve right here in our own oceans, completely overlooked for most of history, what else is out there? Not in the stars, but right here under our noses. What other forms of consciousness are we still missing just because we haven't learned how to see them yet?